Well, we're also thinking about our healthy diets right now as we're gluttonous. But working out can be hard around the holidays. I know it's been nearly impossible for me this month. With Thanksgiving tomorrow, I know we're just thinking about turkey and pie.
There are ways, though, to stay on track. I interviewed Dan Koshel with KRDO News Radio about his weight loss secrets after dropping over 100 pounds.
It's KRDO's Morning News.
You wake up to his voice each and every morning.
Got a lot going on today.
But the person behind that microphone,
those are the top stories we're following on KRDO's Morning News,
has changed. Dan Koshel is the program director and morning anchor for KRDO News Radio.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes.
He struggled with his weight his entire adult life.
I always would try to hide my weight. I would always wear, bigger clothes and just sort of, exist with the weight. I'd pray to God to ask, just let me be skinny one more time before I die in my life.
A life-changing diagnosis inspired Dan's weight loss journey. He has type 2 diabetes.
January 17th, 2021. It's kind of a day that will always be with me, like my birthday, or it was like I was given a second chance.
That very day, he started a major lifestyle change. Dan knew if he didn't lose the weight, he would face serious health consequences.
I was motivated. I was on death's doorstep. I mean, to be that high of your A1C and that overweight, I was maybe 1 or 2 donuts away or a pizza away from maybe having a heart attack.
3 years later, Dan's lost 135 pounds. He's almost unrecognizable in these pictures.
When I'm actually walking in the store and somebody that knew me back when I was big walks right by me because they can't recognize me, that's pretty remarkable.
The miraculous turnaround was hard and slow at first, but it was all about changing his mindset, being patient, and not giving up.
And this literally took me 3 years. In the beginning, I could see the gradual weight loss, maybe 1 or 2 pounds a month. The third year is when I really started in late fall, I started going, wow, I'm really losing weight, Then when you step on the scale and you're under 200 pounds for the first time since you were in your 20s, is an eye-opening experience.
Dan did it without killing himself at the gym and without weight loss drugs. 2 things a lot of people are turning to in hopes of losing a lot of weight. For him, it's all about diet.
I became a carb expert.
Counting carbs, being disciplined, and managing cravings is what's worked for Dan.
What I found out through the diabetes education is I can have 3 15 carb selections each meal. So if I had low carb bread, which is 8 carbs, if I had 2 pieces of bread, that'd be 16 carbs, so that's 1 selection. I count out potato chips. 18 potato chips would be another 15 carbs. That's number 2, and then something number 3.
And walking around work is a good way Dan gets his steps in.
Walk around the parking lot several times a day and brisk walk. That's the only workout that I ever did to lose the weight.
Dan is still on insulin, but that might be something he can wean off in the future.
Okay, thanks for calling.
For Dan, losing the weight has been the biggest gain.
Really changed my life, losing the weight. And I feel so much healthier and so much, I have energy anyway, but I feel a lot more energetic and I feel a lot younger.
And we're actually joining Dan live in the radio booth this morning. First off, Dan, huge congratulations. You look amazing. What stood out to me in your story was how you became that carb expert. Losing weight can be really daunting. There are so many diets, ways to go about it, but you've tried to keep things simple. How did you dial in those carbohydrates, and how long did it take you to kind of figure out that was working?
Well, when it first happened, when I first was diagnosed, I was in the hospital, so I had a diabetes expert come in and educate me. But it really, when I got out of the hospital and I actually, was trying to tackle this from day one, I learned that you just count the carbs, you change your lifestyle, and that's the big takeaway message is you have to change your lifestyle. I was in a lifestyle of eating pizza and donuts, as I talked about on the package, but all of that came crashing to an end when I was diagnosed.
And I'm so glad you guys did the story, considering November is, Diabetes Awareness Month. And a lot of people don't realize, or many don't realize, Dan, that type 2, for some people, it can be reversed if you work really hard at it. What have doctors told you?
Well, yeah, it starts because when you have type 2 diabetes, chances are you are overweight. And so if you are and you find yourself, urinating a little bit more and more often, it would behoove anybody to go get a diagnosis, because most people don't know they have type 2 diabetes. I certainly didn't until I really felt different. I felt like I had to go to the hospital.
Well, learning about the diagnosis and then taking it head on, I think, has been really amazing to hear your story, Dan, and hopefully a lot of folks can learn from you. Thanks for sharing it.
Thank you.